One.
I personally feel like the American people has been gaslit for the past 60 years. Every country in the world practically has universal health care. We are the richest country in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And we don't have it.
It's about money. America's a business.
Told, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Washington was awesome. You get to you get to listen to real people.
$4 trillion on tax cuts.
It's a call-in show.
Truman, Eisenhower, Nixon, they all talked about universal.
I look like a ninja.
Nothing. My sister and her family lived in France for 25 years.
What the?
They never had in tax, in health care. What's being done now is just a matter, I think, of pure politics and money. If you take the money out of it and you get rid of the insurance companies, they'll be able to do something, I hope,
Kenshi,
very different.
Mortal Kombat.
But it falls on the Republicans and the Democrats.
Okay. Tim in New York, who's an independent. Doug in Virginia, Republican. Doug, you're next.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why the news can't get it straight. We've worked, people that worked and paid taxes all their lives, paid into Medicare, paid into Social Security. People on Medicaid.
She's so fine. I need a woman like this.
Just not looking at this the right way. The insurance companies.
I need a girlfriend like that. Hey, we both got kind of red hair, man. I need something like that.
Should be into their profits. We look at this from the right standpoint. You don't ask the country to pay for your insurance. We paid for it all of our lives, whether I wanted to or not. And I'm satisfied with what I've got. I'm retired military and I'm Social Security and Medicare.
So do you go to the VA?
I still can't get, no, I don't. I use the VA some, yes. I've started using it, but I haven't had to use it before now.
Doug, do you think the government is responsible for health care for Americans and just eliminate insurance companies?
No, I really don't like big government. But what government should be doing is regulating to health insurance, car insurance. Car insurance has gone up every 6 months.
I don't like that.
For the past 4 years. And they want to say, well, it costs more to fix a car. Well, if you keep giving people raises every year, that what do you expect is going to happen? But they should be regulated.
Okay.
You look at their profit margins, and I think they would stop saying that the government gives you Medicare. No, they give you Medicaid.
Okay. You understood. You pay for Medicare. Lee in Charleston, South Carolina, Democratic caller. Lee, how's your party handling health care?
They gave me Medicaid and I didn't use it. I should have used it.
Team number 4.
In 2021.
Mississippi, number 5.
Oh, Lee, are you there?
Or was it Medicare?
This insurance thing. And it seems to me that Republicans don't want health insurance. Now, they've got junk bomb policies on the market, and people are buying it thinking they're covered until they get in that hospital and find out otherwise. So what they need to do is do something about that, and take the for instance, the gentleman said about his son not being at fault for the 16 grand, but if it was on the other way, or should I say, then he'd be in trouble trying to pay that kind of balance. So that's the problem.
They trolling.
Everybody doesn't
on
want
the money.
to participate in it. And I think it's the politicians who are hustling us.
Yeah, the politicians are hustling us. Yeah, exactly.
Then you'll have a pooling of funds in order to pay these bills. Then you can
my back.
take care of the hospitals and whatnot.
I'm scared to go get my back looked at because of how much it might cost.
He's a doctor. I've never seen.
That's what I'm saying. People choose not to go to the hospital.
With me, for instance,
in America,
about my health insurance. Okay, so that's a farce.
Well, Bill Cassidy is a senator as well, and he oversees public policy.
Yes, but that's the problem, conflict of interest.
Well, he's not a.
See?
I mean, he's a full-time senator now, Lee, and he has the experience of being a doctor.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's either a senator or a doctor.
Okay, Lee, with his thoughts in Charleston, South Carolina. In the day ahead, some programming notes for you. We'll hear from Secretary of State Marco Rubio at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time today. He'll hold a year-end press conference, and you can watch live coverage of that here on C-SPAN. C-SPAN Now, that free video mobile app that you can download, or on demand online at cspan.org. We're also covering today President Trump. He'll give remarks in Rocky Mount, North Carolina tonight. He's expected to talk about the U.S. economy, and he'll be joined by North Carolina U.S. Senate candidate and former RNC chair Michael Whatley. You can watch live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on C-SPAN, C-SPAN Now, and cspan.org. Also at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, a new edition of Ceasefire. Host Dasha Burns is joined by Senator John Fetterman, Democrat of Pennsylvania, and Senator Katie Britt, Republican of Alabama, plus conversations with Republican strategists and Democratic strategists as well. Watch tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on C-SPAN. Are you satisfied with your party's handling of healthcare? Marvin in Columbus, Ohio, Republican. We'll get your take, Marvin. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're listening, Marvin. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just wanting to know what would happen if the government would take over the insurance and Medicare and stuff. If they get mad and come out of another shutdown like it did for 41 days, what would happen to the American people on the insurance and the billing part?
Yeah, good
Okay,
question.
Marvin, with his question, Rick in Philadelphia, Independent. Rick, we're wondering, are you satisfied with your party's handling of healthcare?
I think we all need to take second looks. It's always good to take second and third looks at things and see how you could do better. The Republicans had 15 years of trying to see if they could do better and only to come up with concepts. But notwithstanding, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday season.
Happy holidays, y'all. Happy holidays. The stars, the solar system, the galaxy.
We all live here.
All right, thanks, Rick. Yeah, on the Washington
Dinosaurs,
Journal
you know, they all
yesterday,
dead
we also
except for the
spoke
birds
to
and the
Mike
lizards.
Lutz, a Republican from Nebraska. He joined us.
Rhinos,
and
rhinosaurs.
He is happy. with
Rhinoceros
his
Rex,
Republican
yeah.
Party handling healthcare.
Yo,
He
draw
called
a
the
Rhinoceros
legislation that House
Rex.
Republicans passed on Wednesday and criticized the discharge petition to force a vote on extending those enhanced tax subsidies. Here's what he had to say.
I am the chair of the Main Street Caucus. Our caucus has always had an interest in extending the ACA tax credits as long as it's paired with real reform. What we did yesterday was something that the entire broad spectrum of Republicans could agree on. Pharmacy benefit manager reform, just taking a look at the way these association plans work. And listen, the Wall Street Journal came out and said that if we adopt what we advanced yesterday, it will save money. It'll reduce premiums across the United States by 12% for everybody. Now, as it relates to the ACA tax credits, this is a real issue. It's a real hard issue, especially. There's 24 million Americans on it. This is 7% of all insureds. Of the 24 million, the GAO and others have independently said that up to 12 million of those did not file a claim last year. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
That tells you fraud is rampant. And we have said, as Republicans, we are...
I ain't even listening to what he's
saying.
saying.
The ACA tax credits, but you've got to stop the fraud. And this discharge petition doesn't do this. This discharge petition lets people at 400% of poverty. Some folks, depending on where they live, could be getting subsidies and they're making $280,000, $300,000 a year. That's not right. But let's be honest about where we're at. This is not a lawmaking exercise over here. The Senate took this issue up. It did not get anywhere close to 60 votes. So everything you're seeing in the House right now is pure theater on the ACA tax credits because the Senate is not going to extend them. And so you can have discharge petition after discharge petition. This is an issue for a campaign. This is not a lawmaking exercise.
Congressman Mike Flood, Republican of Nebraska. He joined us yesterday on the Washington Journal, along with two other lawmakers, Mike Lawler of New York, who was one of those 4 Republicans who signed the discharge petition, along with Betty McCollum, who's a Democrat of Minnesota. If you missed our conversations with those members of Congress, find it online at cspan.org or our free video mobile app, C-SPAN Now.
There you go.
Back to the conversation.
Hospitals. Usually I think of it that there's something really bad, you know. It's called health hospitals. Usually I think of it that there's something really bad, you know. It's called health coverage. It's not like people are handing people money. And if there's, well, yeah, I mean, insurance companies are obviously taking in a lot of that money, even if people aren't submitting claims. Well, that's how costs are spread out and absorbed. Okay, but I would just, a couple thoughts on this. And while I'm a Democrat, not a Republican, not to put everything in the blue and red teams, but, you know, we do make our choices to what we stand for. As I said, Democrats are trying to provide solutions for health care. And back when the Affordable Care Act was being designed during the Obama administration, all this kind of started in 2009 and 10. People go back and look at the history and the facts. And the public option was proposed and designed into it. And Joe Lieberman, God rest his soul, he'd been a Democrat for years. He became an independent. He was a senator from Connecticut. He threatened to join with Republicans in opposing the whole Affordable Care Act, the whole thing, voting it out, you know. And they had the numbers to do that in the Senate if they wouldn't get rid of the public option. Well, insurance companies, private insurance companies, didn't want the competition from this public option. What do you want to call it? Universal health care, Medicare for all. It would be based on people's income, what they're charged, and so it was going to compete with private insurance. Private insurance industry didn't want that competition from the public option, and with Joe Lieberman's vote joining with Republicans would have been enough to block the whole Affordable Care Act.
All right, Jim, with a little history lesson there, and for all of you interested in that debate from 2010, go into the C-SPAN archives. If you go to cspan.org and you go into our video library search engine at the top, you can listen to those debates that happened in 2009 and 2010 for yourself. In the meantime, we'll go to Diane in DeSoto, Kansas, Republican. Diane, what do you think of the GOP and their handling of health care?
I don't like it, and I don't like the Democrat plan either. But I want to give everybody a wake-up call here. I'm 79 years old. I make about $55,000 a year in income. My cost, $202 a month for Medicare, plus my supplement, which I have to have, costs me $600 a month, every month. That's $9,600 a year. My health care. People think Medicare is free.
Hell no.
It's not.
That's a ripoff.
On top of that, it doesn't cover eyewear, it doesn't cover dental, it doesn't cover anything like Medicare or Medicaid does. That's the facts of life.
That's terrible.
And I'm stretching it this year to make that payment. And so around the board. And I blame
I wouldn't pay that. Hell no. There ain't no way.
I blame insurance companies and especially the Congress people that get their big donations from them.
All right,
Yeah,
Diane,
exactly. It's the donations that used to be called bribes.
For now, later on the Washington
Now it's
Journal,
called
we'll
lobbying.
be joined by the House Armed
It's a
Services
donation.
top
Like, don't make a
Democrat,
bill.
Adam
Don't
Smith,
regulate
to
us.
join President
We're gonna
Trump's
pay you. We're
foreign
gonna
and
give you that
military
bag and then
policies.
give them like.
We'll talk about that with him. But first,
It's all
President
digital now.
Trump signed an executive order yesterday to expedite the reclassification of marijuana. Joining us next to discuss his concerns about the
Why are they
move
still
is
even
Kevin
calling it
Sabet
marijuana?
with
It's
the
called
group
cannabis.
Smart Approaches to Marijuana. We'll be right back.
Marijuana don't even sound like an English word.
Today on C-SPAN C-Spire, at a time when
They call it marijuana because you want to marry it.
Pennsylvania Democratic Senator
You
John
want to
Cornyn
marry it?
and Alabama
Marijuana?
Senator
Do you
Keith
get it?
come together for a bipartisan dialogue on the top issues facing the country.
Yo, the politics make you cray cray.
American politics.
Watch C-Spire today at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on C-SPAN.
No, I actually just feel good because I had some coffee, I had some cake.
American History TV.
I took a hot shower.
C-SPAN 2, exploring
And I went
the
for a
people and
walk.
events that tell the American story. This weekend, As the nation celebrates the 250th anniversary of its founding, join American History TV for our series, America 250, and discover the ideas and defining moments of the American story. This week at 11 a.m. Eastern, reenactors mark the anniversary of the 1780 Battle of Camden in South Carolina. The British victory led to the replacement of General Horatio Gates with General Nathaniel Greene as commander of the Southern Continental Army. Then at 1:45 p.m. Eastern, the first of 3 holiday programs. In 1989, President George H.W. Bush received the first menorah to be displayed in the White House. At 6 p.m. Eastern, a 1968 United States Army film showcases how American soldiers celebrate Christmas around the world. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, the 1982 President Ronald Reagan Christmas message about military service and help for refugees during his weekly radio address. And at 9:15 p.m. Eastern on the Presidency, conversations on Christmas in the White House, hosted by the George W. Bush Presidential Center and the National First Ladies Library and Museum. Exploring the American story, watch American History TV, Saturdays on C-SPAN 2. And find the full schedule on your program guide or watch online anytime at cspan.org.
Y'all know where the weed is going. The weed going straight to the hospitals.
Washington Journal continues.
Then they want the colleges to grow it.
We turn our attention to marijuana, and joining us for that conversation
there they
is
go.
Kevin Sabet. He's the president and CEO of Smart Approaches to Marijuana.
Yeah, he medicated this morning probably. Yeah.
Influence America's drug habit and how we can overcome it.
This is my drug habit right here,
Your
coffee.
reaction to the president trying to expedite the reclassification of marijuana yesterday?
I miss weed.
Yeah, I think it's in some ways a mixed bag. I mean, it wasn't wholly unexpected. The president talked about it during the campaign trail, and he even went further. He said he was voting for the failed Florida effort to legalize marijuana outright. My concern with marijuana generally is
alcohol.
that we're dealing with a fundamentally
Don't want them to
different
legalize
drug
it
today. This is a new drug, really, that's been genetically altered to highly.
Well, we can get regular weed.
Strain, a highly potent level of THC, which is the active ingredient that gets you high, and its levels.
No, it makes people sleepy.
It's exponentially higher, almost an order of magnitude more than in the Woodstock days, where it was called weed for a reason. It could have been 1% to 2% strong. Now it's up to 99.9% strong with these vapes and dabs that are out there.
Oh, that's way too strong, man.
It's causing terrible harm across the country. It's causing psychosis, schizophrenia.
That's why they made it so strong, so they could give it a bad name.
Almost every week. Last week was heart disease, stroke, diabetes. Then there was a big study in the Journal of the American Medical Association saying that
see why regular weed is better?
Medical marijuana, there's no evidence behind it, and 1 in 3 of those cardholders are actually addicted to marijuana. So I worry that this could expedite the normalization and really commercialization of marijuana. I've spoken on this.
It's not as addicting as alcohol. People have the shakes and damn near die with alcohol withdrawal. It's not like that on weed.
Adult smokes a joint in the privacy of their own home, and I don't want to arrest adults and put them in prison and give them a criminal record or anything like that.
I've been in jail because of weed. Y'all need to legalize that.
False dichotomy between criminalization on the one hand and mass commercialization on the other. And I am very concerned about the latter.
Terrible.
Of course, rescheduling would not legalize or commercialize.
He just called us drug addicts. What the fuck?
But what it would do,
I call alcohol users drug addicts too. I understand how you feel.
Because it offers tax breaks to they're now able to.
I quit alcohol.
Which it's not yet. It's just the process has been basically
respect it.
Is what the executive order essentially is doing. But if that ends up happening, companies can take tax breaks, and that's really where this whole thing came from. It came from 1 or 2 of the president's.
Yeah, they want that tax money.
He was very open about it. I mean, if it's one thing you can't. You can say about this president is he pretty much tells it like it is, even if it's sort of hard to hear. That, for example, his business associate and golf buddy and person that's invested in the industry was the one who convinced his entire administration to sort of grin and bear it and be okay with this. That was kind of hard for many of us who've been doing this for so long and listening to the research and the science. It was kind of hard to hear, but that's really where it came from, and it came from some polling that the industry had done about medical marijuana. So the president tried to draw a bright line between non-medical and medical, which in some ways I appreciate, because I'm glad that he said he wouldn't take it. He doesn't want people to do it. I mean, he was very open about that. This wasn't legalization. So I'm grateful for that, because maybe that clarified kind of a muddled message. But I am very concerned this is really expediting the commercialization. I'll just say one other thing about it that I think is an interesting point, which is that, if marijuana is truly going to be a Schedule 3 drug, it'll be the only Schedule 3 drug that does not have an FDA approved that is not FDA approved. It's not an FDA approved product or medication. So we're going to be in really unknown territory in so many ways. And, Schedule 3 drugs have to go under these strict guidelines with regards to advertising or disease claims. I mean, Tylenol with codeine cannot be in a gummy bear, and it cannot be, touted as curing every disease under the sun, which is what marijuana is being touted as now. So I don't know if the industry quite grasps that. Who knows if that'll be enforced even, but that is part of this whole thing. So I think we don't really know what this means, as there's a long way to go, but it was certainly interesting to watch that press conference yesterday.
Well, we want our viewers to join us in this conversation. We'll get your thoughts on the president's move to not federally legalize marijuana, but his move would ease tax burdens for cannabis businesses and facilitate more research. That's from reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug, as the Wall Street Journal reports. We'll have you join the conversation this morning. Republicans dial in at 202-748-8001, Democrats 202-748-8000, and Independents 202-748-8002. Text us with your thoughts if you'd like at 202-748-8003. Kevin Sabet, before we get to calls though, let's listen to the president in his own words yesterday.
So I've always told my children, don't take drugs, no drinking, no smoking, and just stay away from drugs. I have been, they would look at me and they said, Dad, would you stop saying that? I would say it every time I looked at them practically. Young Americans are especially at risk, so unless a drug is recommended by a doctor for medical reasons, just don't do it. At the same time, the facts compel the federal government to recognize that marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications when carefully administered in some cases. This may include the use as a substitute for addictive and potentially lethal opioid painkillers. They cause tremendous problems. This can do it in a much lesser way, can make people feel much better that are living through tremendous pain and problems.
President Trump on reclassifying marijuana yesterday. Our guest this morning is Kevin Sabet. He is the president and CEO of Smart Approaches to Marijuana and also the author of the book, One Nation Under the Influence, America's Drug Habit and How We
Yeah, it feels good.
Let's get to calls. Kevin Williams joining us.
It feels good. That's why they don't want you to have it.
Yes, I use marijuana for my training. I served 20 years in the Marines. I had a serious accident in the Marine Corps. I got both of my shoulders rotated cuff to turn and can't be repaired. I got severe arthritis in my cervical spine. I got bursitis and arthritis in both my hips. I'm losing muscle in both my quadriceps.
People shouldn't have to be injured just to use
I got numbness in both
cannabis.
my feet, permanent nerve damage in my right hand. Severe arthritis.
Humans
in
was
my
using it
lower
for
back,
thousands of years.
Pushes on my nerve and cause numbness in my feet. I got a brain tumor. I got prostate cancer.
Damn.
I got all kinds of things. I use medical marijuana. I tried Tramadol for pain. I had a bad reaction. I passed out. I tried the drug for nerve pain. I passed out for that, so I stopped using it. And I started using marijuana, and I get around good. I don't have any pain, but all the stuff I got going on. And for people to legalize marijuana, and when it's helping people like me every day.
And William, where do you go to? Do you have a medical license for it? And where do you go to get the marijuana to help with this pain?
I get mine out of Washington, D.C. I have not had a day without pain since 1984. As today, I fell 40 feet, rappelling and fell 40 feet, landed on a boulder, a big boulder. My whole body was landing on the boulder. And by the miracle of God, the only thing the boulder was my head.
William with his story there. Kevin Sabet.
Jeez.
And obviously, that's heartbreaking. First of all, William, I mean, thank you for your service to our country, and I'm very sorry for what you have gone through. I want to be clear that I don't think anyone is saying that if marijuana, forget marijuana, methamphetamine, I mean, anything, even much more dangerous drugs in some ways, give people with, I mean, the number of things you listed, I don't think I've heard so many. So it's awful for one person. You know, no one is saying that, you know, you should be going to jail or you shouldn't be getting that. But my worry is that we're basing, and this is what the president emphasized when he said people that I know, we're basing policy not so much on broad scientific evidence, but on anecdote. And the plural of anecdote is not data. So, William, I think you should do what you need to do for yourself. And, you know, interestingly enough, you're going to Washington, D.C., where it's actually not legal to sell. So the product you're getting, you know, we don't know what's in it. But the bigger issue is that's why we need FDA-approved medications. I think, you know, we owe it to our veterans. We owe it because we also know marijuana can cause PTSD. It can cause long-term mental health damage. So it might feel good in the short term mentally, but in the long term, it can be highly damaging, is what the data says. So what I would like to see is, you know, FDA-approved medications, not so much medications by popular vote or medications by, you know, what a legislator or one president or another or where the political winds are, what that says, but actually what the scientific evidence says. And, you know, something about rescheduling that was mentioned, of course, was they said that we can now do research. It's possible that this will increase some research because it does make it slightly easier to do research. But we need to be very clear that we have done almost $5 billion of research on marijuana in this country in the last 40 years, according to NIH Reporter. You can literally add up the numbers when you put in marijuana or THC or the cannabinoids. And there are over 50,000 peer-reviewed published studies.
I'm about to go live streaming on Twitch, y'all.
I'm a PhD. I definitely
got it downloaded.
I always want more research. Okay, research is good. Love to do more research. But what's going to drive research is funding, not just these sort of, you know, proclamations that we should do something. It's funding will drive the research. So, you know, I don't know if the president's prepared to fund. I mean, the NIH budget was cut. So if we could increase the NIH budget for funding, including into cannabinoids, including into other medications as well that are not marijuana or opioid-based medications. There's a suite of medications now with AI. We're learning so much more about personalized medicine. I mean, there's so much we should be investing in to get these answers. But for the people that can't wait, like our caller that we just heard, you know, I'm not against them taking something that might help them. The issue is, how do we form public policy and what do we
sell it at Walmart?
And I think we should base it on evidence.
Kurt,
sell it at Walmart. Sell the weed at Walmart.
Good morning, Kurt.
Right by the potatoes and the tomatoes, the cinnamon, the turmeric.
A little bit more. My question was if he would clarify on the legality of doing research on a Schedule I drug, which is where marijuana is now.
Right next to the alcohol.
Schedule I's that you can't do research on, but by moving it into a Schedule III, it will now allow whatever mechanism it is to get research done other than through the NIH. I don't know if that's possible, but could you go into some of that, of how research money
National Institute of Health is NIH.
Other than the NIH? Appreciate your time. Take care.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. There's so much misinformation about research and how it's done and the scheduling system because, you know, the scheduling system is over 50 years old. I would reform the scheduling system. I would change it in the whole system in some ways. There's probably smarter ways to do it now. But I think some of the misconceptions sometimes people have is they think that because marijuana is in a Schedule I, and let's say heroin and LSD and PCP, for example, are also in
crazy.
Schedule I.
Y'all are crazy.
Therefore, we think marijuana is as dangerous as heroin, and that's actually not what it means. It's not a harm index by any means. It's not even an index for criminal penalties. There are Schedule II drugs that carry much harsher criminal penalties than Schedule I drugs. So it's very confusing, admittedly. You know, what Schedule I means is that it doesn't have accepted medical use. In other words, the FDA has not approved a product called marijuana, just general marijuana. That's why by definition, a newer drug that took over $1.5 billion of more than that of private investment, not government investment, to get it passed. And Ilex is purified CBD oil for seizures if those seizures do not react to normal, or I should say, to traditional medication. And by the way, that's a minority. Most of the seizures react well to traditional medication. Some don't, and those are some stories you see on TV with some of the kids that don't react well. It's heartbreaking. They're having multiple seizures a day. Cannabidiol oil, and they're having multiple seizures a day. Cannabidiol oil, and it's called Epidiolex, is available through to have the same exact kind of license. You can transfer the license to someone in your lab if they're certified with something else. I mean, it's some of those that change, and maybe that will spur a lot of research. It's possible, but I'm skeptical. I think what's going to spur research is the funding, not so much the schedule status. I worry the schedule status instead is going to encourage some of the bad players, the for-profit, pharma, other type of players that really they haven't been playing by the rules for the last 20 years and sort of don't intend to do so now.
Okay, let's get to calls. Ray, Colorado, independent.
Good morning. I'm glad I can talk to you. I was wondering how getting marijuana reclassified under Schedule 3 may intersect or impact the recent redefining of hemp that was included in the bill to end the government shutdown earlier this year.
All right, Ray, we'll take that question. Kevin Sabet.
It's a great question. So just for some background, essentially hemp was, for years we've had hemp available in your Whole Foods market and in your mall little kiosks to get the necklaces and stuff. And those have been imported from Canada and China because they produce hemp so cheaply. And we've imported it for years. 7 years ago, hemp farmers, mainly in Kentucky, said, we want to give American farmers a chance to grow hemp and, be part of that business. So the government agreed to that. And what ended up happening was the legitimate hemp market, it didn't really help U.S. farmers because it's too cheap from Canada and China, even with tariffs. Of course, there weren't tariffs then, but even with tariffs. And the market is too small. So, the idea of American farmers in a southeastern state competing with China on hemp, that wasn't really going to happen. But what unfortunately happened is you had some very entrepreneurial, essentially drug producers and dealers and networks, criminal networks, that exploited that hemp provision and found a loophole to allow them to create synthetic marijuana products based on the hemp plant. That's nothing to do with hemp other than it was based on the hemp plant. But they got the chemical structure, they altered the chemical structure, and they infused it in things like gummy bears and edibles and elixirs, and they sold them at gas stations because they were totally quote-unquote legal under this hemp provision,
but it was toxic,
but not regulated at all because the government certainly wasn't expecting this. It was a disaster. We had deaths. We had, hundreds of thousands of emergency room admissions. It was not a good thing other than for this industry that was making a lot of money, which is always usually what it comes down to. So we actually, our colleague, our group, Smart Approaches to Marijuana, and other groups, we worked very, very hard to reverse this. Mitch McConnell did.
I tried to tell y'all, but the YouTube algorithm don't give a shit.
The first farm bill passed. So we, to Rand Paul's consternation, who wants to legalize all.
Got like 5 views, 2 views.
But almost everybody else wasn't okay with it. And we had 25 Democrats join 50 Republicans, one of the few bipartisan things probably this year, in banning hemp as part of the government spending bill. That's where we are now. The executive order
right now
yesterday does direct agencies to try and find hemp-derived CBD products that can be helpful and do research and expedite that through, HHS. And we don't really know what that looks like. It's very vague in the EO. We have no idea. But they are trying to do that. I never thought that the repeal of the hemp provision was actually going to affect sort of some of the CBD supplement type things that you see at the store. What I will say about those supplements is I just tell people, including my neighbors and even relatives and good friends who ask me, hey, I'm taking CBD gummies to fall asleep. Is this helpful? Is it good? Is it bad? What I tell them is just buyer beware. This isn't really regulated at all. No one really knows what's in it. A lot of the studies show placebo. They show really very little change. Some of them show extreme liver damage. In fact, my understanding was the FDA was looking at a black box warning for CBD products because of liver damage. I don't know if that's happening anymore.
What?
But
Liver damage?
there's
Oh,
data on
no.
it. It's very new. We don't know. Maybe it's harmless. Maybe it's helpful.
That's
It's
when
a
it
big
got
question.
some residue of
Louisville,
how they made the
Kentucky,
oil.
Milo is joining us from there this morning. Democratic call.
If it is real.
Hello.
Morning. Question or comment?
Hi. Yeah, okay. Full disclosure, Milo is not my real name. It's a nickname because I don't want to be called to HR in the morning or Monday morning. My question is, I've always wondered, now it's about time, I was always wondering when this subject was going to come up on the show, how employers are going to deal with this and insurance companies, because I wouldn't want one of my bridge inspectors up on a bucket truck or on a crane inspecting a bridge, a very old bridge, which takes a lot of time to do, and you spend a lot of time by yourself up there burning one if they thought that it was acceptable, you know? And you're right, this stuff is so strong anymore. You see, walking down the road with my dog, and then somebody comes by and I feel like I got a contact high coming from their car. It's just amazing.
All right, Milo. Kevin
I really
Smith.
appreciate
Yeah, well, thank you. Not your name, Milo, but I like that name anyway, so we'll call you Milo. I appreciate that. It's a very, very good comment, a very astute observation. And if you think it's bad where you are, Milo, walking your dog, you should go to, our wonderful cities like New York City and see what it smells like. Washington, D.C., Los Angeles. It's complete legalization and commercialization has totally changed the landscape. And we actually think that it's one of the reasons we've seen a backlash to marijuana. And I'm encouraged that you were on the Democratic line and said this, because this is not a partisan issue and should not be a partisan issue. We now have people in very blue states that want to repeal the sales of marijuana because they are concerned about commercialization. It's not so much about the adult's right to use and the privacy of their own home. It's about this public display and the smell which travels. It's much more carcinogenic than tobacco smoke in terms of secondhand contact high. It travels much further than tobacco. That's why you smell it more likely.
How is it worse than tobacco?
When you're walking down the street, because if someone's doing it in any near vicinity, you're going to smell it. So it's a huge issue. And the contact high and secondhand smoke issue is something we don't talk enough about in this country. The other thing that we don't talk enough about that you mentioned was the issue of testing. And it's very important because we don't want people building bridges up high and inspecting them and driving our trucks and driving our kids on the school bus and operating in our surgical rooms. We do not want them high on anything. And marijuana stays in your system longer. It doesn't mean that you're not intoxicated, but you test longer. It actually means you are affected longer than a drug, for example, like alcohol, which is in and out of your system in 24 hours. And for marijuana, the effects can last a few days. Studies
Man,
show that.
alcohol make
They show
people
that it's not
so
just
stupid.
right
though.
when you feel high.
They
It's
wreck.
even when you feel like you're not high
It happened to
anymore,
me.
you will do poorly on tests when they test you for different things. So I'm very concerned about it. There's a drug testing organization called NDASA, which is very highly respected, that's looking at what this means for our pilots, what this means for our Department of Transportation mandated testing. I don't think these things were thought of by the president and his golf buddies, to be honest. There are wide implications about what this means, and it's extremely uncertain. It's something we need to watch.
Tony, Flowerton, Pennsylvania, Independent.
I don't know
Tony?
about this guy.
Yeah, I would just say that I like the topic today. I like the guest and what he's saying. I would say the commercialization, that cow is already well out of the barn. I do social work in Philadelphia, so I get to go to the schools. I smell it all over in the high schools. I smell it all over in the middle
I smelled it in GameStop, and I loved it.
Wasting out of the windows. The other driver in the car is using it. Commercialization, it's done. Colorado, it started. Jersey, that cow is well out of the barn. So what do we do from this point? Our drug treatment is a failure. Our drug policies are a failure. Mass incarceration didn't work. None of this stuff is working. I like that the person here is talking about getting data to drive policy. The problem is that in this country, data doesn't drive policy. Billionaires do. Insiders do. This is a $1 billion industry. And so they're going to drive policy. They're going to write the policy that Congress is going to pass. And that's
Exactly.
And then as
You
far
need to
as
be
the
a weed
FDA,
billionaire.
and we just need to maybe regulate or get the FDA more involved. Look at the Sackler family. They did a more mass killing of Americans than any other thing or entity. If you look at one family and the pillaging and murder of our citizens, all approved by the FDA and the medical community. When they knew the research was in for a decade that was bad. So I would just challenge why we're talking about marijuana, why we're not broadening the conversation to why so many Americans are so miserable. When I walk around
Hey,
Kensington,
Tony, I've got to jump in at that point and get a response from our guest.
Well, Tony, first of all, thank you for your service working with kids in the city of Brotherly Love. It's a great city.
He's talking about Oxycontin,
you know,
from the Sackler
it's
family.
Not easy what you do, and I know you're underpaid and underappreciated, but people do appreciate.
I heard about
you.
that.
Those kids need you. They're the future of our country, and we very much appreciate your perspective. And in some ways,
Yeah, what if
it's
my
depressing
microphone's
what you said,
off?
But in many ways, you're right. I mean, we fought the Sacklers. I fought the Sacklers very hard in the opioid epidemic in the early, when I was in the Obama administration, when we saw that wave of prescription drugs. Now, of course, there's a place for prescription drugs. We don't know, they help some people, of course, too. And thankfully, a minority of people who use those prescription drugs got addicted to them. But that minority was such a big number still and caused so much damage. And we didn't listen. And instead, we listened to them because they had a lot of money, just like we listened to the tobacco industry for 80 years, even longer than we listened to the Sacklers. When we allowed the tobacco industry to manipulate a product that had been used for thousands of years relatively innocuously. Think about it, tobacco used for thousands of years, very few deaths, and it started killing people more than any weapon of mass destruction when they turned it into a cigarette. And that was an industry innovation that did that. And my worry is if we turn this over to the marijuana industry and the people who are invested in the pot industry, like some of those people around the Oval Office, which I never thought I would see around the Resolute yesterday, I think that's not a good thing. We should not turn this over to that billionaire class. What we can do, though, Tony, is we can, first of all, educate. Young people are smart. They're actually
just make it legal.
Drugs generally a lot less than previous generations, even though marijuana.
He just explained it when tobacco was, when people just grew their own, people didn't die like that.
Fear-based, science-based, but also,
they don't let people grow their own tobacco, so they have to buy the cigarettes.
On a stooge in a corporate profit sheet, or do you want to rise above this and get naturally?
Why doesn't it say that I'm live right there, like it does on other people?
Important. In terms of where we go legalization, I don't think we're quite done. We do not have federal legalization. We're pushing back in many ways. But even in the states that do, and thankfully your state doesn't, but in the states that do, we should be arguing for things like limits of THC, advertising bans. These are sensible things because, again, I have to emphasize, today's marijuana is not the marijuana of the past. It's causing mass psychosis and schizophrenia, which is terrible. It's causing major problems with physical health, other mental health, depression, anxiety, of course, as well. It's really not part of us becoming a better country. And it's not Republican, Democrat. It's not incarceration, but it's also not commercialization. We need to do better.
Kevin Sabet is the president and CEO of Smart Approaches to Marijuana and the author of the book, One Nation Under the... Later on the Washington Journal, we're going to talk with Washington Examiner's Christian Gaytok about this week's significant news. But first, after this break, Washington State Democrat Adam Smith, top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, will discuss President Trump's military and foreign policy. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Today on C-SPAN C-Spire.
Why doesn't it say that I'm live?
Matters most in Washington. Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman and Alabama Republican Senator Katie Britt come together for a bipartisan dialogue on the top issues facing the country. They join host Dasha Burns.
Bridging the divide in American politics.
Watch C-Spire today at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on C-SPAN. Book TV, every Sunday on C-SPAN 2, features leading authors discussing their latest nonfiction books. Here's a look at what's coming up this weekend. Beginning at 1:45 p.m. Eastern, coverage of the Wisconsin Book Festival at the Madison Public Library in the state's capital. Hear from authors discussing climate change, agriculture, baseball, and gender identity. At 8:15 p.m. Eastern, David Horowitz Freedom Center President Michael Finch, with his book, A Time to Stand, talks about his essays on American liberty
Will YouTube work on PlayStation 5 without making an account? PlayStation fan is blowing. It's working. I need to blow it out for real. I need to clean it. Got that tobacco smoke. I still don't understand how weed smoke is more carcinogenic than tobacco smoke. Is it because the chemicals they use in it? Like, I never heard that before. Because if you grow your own weed and you don't put any chemicals in it, like, how is it more carcinogenic? I don't understand. With tobacco, people have to smoke more of it. With weed, you don't have to smoke that much of it, and it lasts longer. I don't understand, like... I guess some people just can't handle it. That, like, it doesn't help them compared to others, I guess. I don't know, man. We're not all the same. Like what I was just talking about with people's personalities. Don't tell me it's gonna make me make an account. Watch as guest. Thank you. Why didn't it allow that when I was Googling something the other day and tried to watch a YouTube video? Maybe it was there, I didn't see the option, but I swear I didn't see the option there. I'm gonna type in my name on there and see if it says I'm live without being signed in. You know, I see one of the homies that's always doing the clickbait stuff and he's like trolling about politics and the president, and they don't ever say that he's live either. And I think that's when folks are shadow banned. I'm not trying to sign in, I'm playing as a guest. It's froze. It just froze. Let me take this off. Guess I'll close it and restart it. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. What do you mean no connection available? I got it on. Stop downloading that. Stop. Stop. Pause the downloads. Pause. Stop downloading that. Slow internet problems. People keep reminding me about it on YouTube every now and then. Stop telling me to make my own YouTube account. YouTube has been ruined. I guess Google ruined it. Or is it my slow internet that's aggravating me? I don't know. Just because PewDiePie said the N-word makes no sense. It's just a word. Look it up in the dictionary. It's just about people lazy. There's plenty of worse words. I don't understand why people gotta take it so personally. Alright, now. It's pressing the wrong button, wow. Stop! What the fuck just happened to it? Now it's saying it doesn't fucking work. It won't let me use it. I hate y'all, man. It's so... Ugh. Search! No, I have other accounts. I just don't try it. Okay, it worked. Pulled up my own profile. Don't understand why it shows the stupid live streams that didn't work from PlayStation first. No, it's not saying I'm live. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of being on YouTube shadow banned, or it ain't working right. Whatever the fuck it is. I know I'm beautiful. And I know I don't get views on YouTube. And it's prejudice against me. I know there should be more beautiful people in the world as well. And I do realize the majority of people are not. But I respect people for their character and I do not judge for how they look. I feel sorry. I have empathy for everyone. All right, Google it. Google it. Google it. I mean, Bing it. Bing it. Bing.com, not Google. Bing. Bing it. Bing.com. 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 What does it mean if someone's profile picture on YouTube doesn't say that they're live when they're live streaming? It could be due to the user's settings, the platform's algorithm, or even technical glitches. I know it ain't my settings because I got my stuff public. The platform's algorithm. That means you're shadow banned. Or even technical glitches. It probably don't even work right. Here are some potential reasons why this might happen. User settings. The user may have their live stream settings configured to show as live, but not be actively streaming. This could be due to a mistake or a preference that to not broadcast the stream at the moment. No, that ain't it. Technical glitches. There could be technical glitches on the platform that affect how live stream status is displayed. These could be temporarily or require a system update to resolve. To resolve this issue, user can check their live stream settings, ensure their live stream is active, and verify that their settings are correctly configured. If the problem persists, it may be best to contact YouTube support for further assistance. So that means they don't even know their stuff's working right or not? Damn. Yeah, I noticed some people's profile picture, they change them or they change their name and it's showing the old one as well. That was a Copilot search. That's the Microsoft thing. I think that cake made my stomach hurt. That stuff messes up your pancreas, don't it? That boy needs some milk. He needs some milk. Yeah, I heard the pancreas is real fragile to what was it? Preservatives. Like in sausages. It's that white icing. Oh, I gotta pee. It doesn't say. They would shadow ban me. I mean, it might just be a glitch. I just cuss a lot. Sometimes I talk about sex, sometimes I talk about drugs, but that's mainly it. Sometimes I talk about corruption. Nah, man. This ain't no PG-13. I'm rated R, baby. I'm rated R. I'm triple X. I'm so old. I remember the back rooms in the video rental stores. Yeah, you had to be over 18. It's the fact that they try to make everything for kids that ruins it. Just like they ruined GTA 5. And now that since the law is passed, they're actually banning kids. My baby's asleep. Oh, he's crying because he's so happy he won.
Enjoy. I just want to say big thank you to Toyota, to the team, to the test team who have helped me get so comfortable. And
That's how you feel when you finally made it on social media and you actually get like a big bag of money.
team. And never had so good time in my life. So thank you.
Yeah. I have downloaded Twitch. I have downloaded the original major platform for live streaming. The YouTube is just a copycat. It's just like GTA 5, the major copycat of all these games. It is so cold out here. I do not want to move up north. I haven't been seeing any chemtrails when it's like I can't see. Where did it go? I don't have my glasses on. Haven't been seeing any chemtrails in the winter. I just see them in the summer. What up, Dawn? Yeah. Oh, I gotta pee. Damn. Be thankful y'all have it good. If y'all do have it good. Seen a guy that couldn't walk live streaming. He's on his bed laying down. And then hearing that guy talk about he has prostate cancer and he broke bones and there's a brain tumor and that's why he does weed. Get back, boy. I got it. Eat your greens. Eat that. Eat those leeks. Chew on that. Birds, birds, birds. I tell you what, man, I need a girlfriend so I can get the hell off social media and go back to having a normal life. Life's too short for that bull. Damn, that cow loud. There's a bull. Yeah, sometimes I hear donkeys. We got some donkeys out there too. Is anybody there? Oh man, I look so much better in the sunlight. Y'all can't even tell I have... It looks all patchy like inside under the light. It ain't until I get outside that like it actually looks like a full-grown mustache type thing. I used to be thinking about that, like... It's so weird having multicolored facial hair. That it looks funny. It looks different. See that? There it goes. It goes to be just looking black and patchy. And then it's multicolored. Yep. Them things stink. I can smell it all the way over here. Yeah, I want some milk. Maybe those leeks are good, but they just stink. They smell like rotten onions. I guess that's why they're not that popular. But it does look like a giant onion. They call them leeks. L-E-E-K-S. Oh, I think I'm gonna bring one of these inside. Just to liven up the mood. Some pumpkins. Pumpkin, blessed and grateful. Harvest. Leaves are falling, autumn is calling. Hello, fall. Pick your own sunflower form, seed stems, flowers, bouquet. Family makes this house a home. Oh, that's the same one. There's two of those. Farmer's market. Two farmers market. Family, where life begins and love never ends. There's two farmers markets. Give thanks. Autumn. And then put glitter that's coming off. Hey there, pumpkin. I didn't realize that. Hey there, pumpkin. I like that. What is that? That's supposed to be it there. Oh, somebody glued that on there. On accident, I think. Whoa, this was made in Mexico? $23. Why would they throw this away? They paid $23 for this. Y'all know they marked it up. That's that price gouging stuff. They gotta make some money. Ain't nobody price gouging like the big pharma and the car manufacturers. My back. Oh, my back. Hey there, pumpkin. How you like that? Yeah. $2. It was $4.50, and then marked it down to $2. I like this. I'm gonna bring this inside so I can try to cheer myself up, you know? And I'll be thinking about, hey there, pumpkin. Say that to a woman and she might like take offense by it, like pumpkins are big or something. No. But is that what just somebody calls their like their grandsons or granddaughters or something? Like, who says, hey there, pumpkin? And that's something a woman says, right? Pumpkin. Hey there, pumpkin. I picked it up at the dump because people be throwing away stuff that's like nothing wrong with it. I got a whole spare tire and rim, a donut, a whole couch. I'm bringing this one inside. All right, kinfolk. All right, you go eat your leeks, eat your veggies. That boy needs some milk. Yeah, I should put all of those. I should bring all of those inside. I should start decorating differently. But I want this in my room. Right there's good. That's good, right next to my mama. Or I can move my mama. But I said I wanted it in my room. There we go. Hey there, watermelon. uh. Hey there, pineapple. Well, I guess I could get some rope. How do they make that rope? From tree bark? Is it made out of hemp? Could be at that. Hey, that could be some weed right there. Made out of hemp. The male plant of the cannabis. I got that white people nose. I was looking at my stepdad one day and I was like, hey, we got the same nose. Yep. I'm trying to socialize on YouTube, but it don't work. So, I almost started downloading Discord, Kick. I did download Twitch. I've downloaded TikTok, and I haven't even tried it. You know, if TikTok really comes from China, that means that's one way that China could start opening up. So if they really sold it to America because it was forced to, they should make another one or whatever. So they could start opening up. That would encourage them to start opening up. I did see something on YouTube the other day that the Chinese people are starting to dig deep on their history, on their forbidden history or something. I don't know. It was some weird stuff. Some weird stuff like that. For some reason, I like this more than the styrofoam. them leeks stink. They still stink. What should I do with it? Cook it? On what? With what? Some hamburger meat? I need to cook some hamburger meat, y'all. Something healthy, you know? I feel bad enough for not investing, making money. Ho! What is this? Salmon. Product of chili. Is it even any good? Got it on sale, I don't know. Lasagna. Yo, you cook that lasagna and some hamburger meat. Hey, it'd be hitting right. Real mozzarella cheese. It's a real mozzarella. I cook me some hamburger meat with some purple cabbage. And then I'll put some leeks in there. That onion just to get rid of the smell. I think I like regular onions better. White or red. Purple onions. Let that thaw out. Like that. Just like that. Whoa. Oven or microwave? I would never. Leave film on tray, do not vent. Place tray on the baking sheet. It's probably plastic too. Place tray on the baking sheet on center rack. Cook for 65 minutes. Remove from oven, let stand 5 minutes. I ought to put it in the glass I ought to see if I could put it in there so I don't use plastic. About tired of this plastic. Probably got plastic in my balls. Don't even know. Let's see. The app crashed again. Yeah, Dr. Berg said to clean your lungs up from phlegm and boogers, you could do onion in the blender with some lemon and honey. Dang, this plastic, man. Oh man, the plastic's all like, don't even want to come off right. Probably because it's froze. I'm not trying to get plastic in my food, yo. What the fuck? There we go. There we go. Hope there ain't no plastic on there. Let me blow it off. Alright. Got some leftover olive oil. Oh! Frostbite! Ah, yes, it is cold. I shall stand by the heat and warm up my cup of milk. Man, stop downloading that. Pause. I don't care about GTA 6. I ain't buying it. Y'all can have it. I'm buying other games. Is the news still on? I ought to turn this thing off again. Yeah. Not connected to the internet. Y'all can kiss my ass. That's what I need. I need a woman so she would enjoy kissing my ass.
Not so sure I'm buying that, considering he has referred to the Kennedy Center as the Trump Kennedy Center many times over the last several months, including, 2 weeks ago on stage there during the FIFA World Cup draw. But there has been some dissent from Democrats after the White House and the Kennedy Center.
Wow, that guy looks half Asian.
Thursday afternoon. They have said our lines were muted. We were not able to voice our dissent, nor take part in the vote. You also have to take into account the fact that the Kennedy Center was named through law, right? Through Congress. Will it actually require a new piece of legislation to formalize that name change, or is this just something where the White House is going to plaster some golden letters on the front of the Kennedy Center, and then a few months later, or perhaps in 2029, when there might be a Democratic president in, those will just get ripped off? It's still too early to tell. But we do know this is an issue where Donald Trump has been hyper-focused over the last several months. I think what's different about this term compared to the president's first term is that he is trying to normalize conservatism and its place in the arts, in culture. We've seen him try to take over the Kennedy Center. Well, not even try. He is installed a new board. Rick Grinnell is there. He's attended, dozens of sporting events across the country. He is trying to make himself seem legitimate to people who might not be tuned in to politics as closely on a daily basis as you and I are.
Well, Billy's a Republican in Claremont, California. Billy,
so
welcome
beautiful.
to the conversation.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yes, I'm African American, and what I have to say this morning, I hope
Beautiful
we'll open
old
eyes
lady.
and ears of everyone
Cougar.
listening.
Ah. Woo!
I had faith as a Republican.
This guy looks
President Trump
stressed.
in the beginning.
He's stressed
of
out.
his
He's on
first,
TV. Fuck.
First term as president. But here, in his second term, he's disappointed me. He's gone completely off track. And I just would like to say this real quick before I forget. There was a young lady who called in. I think she was an elderly lady, Caucasian, called in a little earlier. And she made a statement that she thought the president was doing a great job, he and a couple other people. Well, I would like to, request that she see a psychiatrist because she's probably not hearing right.
All right, Billy, we heard your point, though, that you think the president is off track. And he voted for him.
It's not an altogether surprising sentiment that we're feeling. I mean, we do know in 2024, Billy said he had voted for the president during his first term, or at least supported him then. But in 2024, Trump made massive inroads with black voters, with Latino voters, with voters under the age of 35.
He disappointed a bunch of blacks and colored people.
Where Democrats have overperformed compared
Brown,
to
blacks, they're all disappointed in Trump.
Seem to have been evaporated. And now why did
Except
it only
for the
take 1
people
year,
that
November 24th,
worked for what they have or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's okay.
I think it's
I don't understand it.
None of these demographics.
Politics
are
too
monoliths,
complicated.
Right? Everyone has their own issues.
Too
that they
many
care about.
lies.
But ultimately, the issue that motivated those people to go for Trump last election is the economy. And even though
Even the poor
mentioned
white
that,
folks
some
been
gas
struggling
prices
under
have
Trump.
decreased, But ultimately,
Hey there,
prices
pumpkin.
remain either at the same level as they were when Joe
Yeah,
Biden was
change
in
the
office,
topic,
or
man.
even elevated.
Get off them
compared
politics.
To, January of earlier this year.
Why don't you grow
if the
some
one
pumpkins
issue
or
on which you
something?
voted someone into office, they are not delivering on. It's not a surprise to me that
beautiful.
that support evaporates.
On health care, this is an article in the Washington Post this morning. Speaker Johnson says he still controls House as allies break ranks for
sparkly.
Republicans joining with Democrats in the House on a discharge
Changes the
petition
feng shui,
to
the
vote in
mood.
January on extending those ACA tax subsidies. The article
I
goes on
appreciate
to
it.
say this, that over the last month, Trump's waning interest in Congress, coupled with Johnson's stubbornness at times, has contributed to lawmakers feeling a sense of aimlessness as they step into a midterm election year facing significant headwinds, according to multiple GOP lawmakers, aides, and consultants, some of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private deliberations. It has made negotiations with the speakers of late feel particularly tense, some say. What is the White House saying about their engagement with Congress on the issues like ACA tax subsidies?
Well, the White House, the administration, they still frame Mike Johnson as a trusted, critical partner in their push to effectuate Donald Trump's agenda. I think that's true to an extent. He has done a serviceable job of passing the president's one big legislative win this year.
There's another cougar right there. Woo!
The summer. But that being said, Mike Johnson has faced 2 discharge petitions where Republicans voted with Democrats to go against his.
Don't wait too long or you end up looking like that.
I'm not so sure he does have control of his caucus. That being said, let's take a step back again. It's clear that this White House, this president, is not necessarily interested in respecting the traditional balances of government, right? The president has expanded executive power. He has restricted Congress's power of the purse, both through the tariffs and the ways that they've, shrank the federal government and fired massive swaths of federal workers. So right now, at least compared to, the 12 years of which I've been in DC, this is the most dysfunctional Congress I've ever seen. They have not been able to pressure the White House at all on anything other than the Epstein files. And again, heading into an election year, I doubt Republicans are really going to do much to try and buck that trend, especially those who might be in competitive races.
The White House announcing Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, moments ago on X. Today at 1 p.m. at the White House, President Trump will be announcing more incredible deals that will lower prices of drugs and pharmaceuticals. Tune in, says Caroline Leavitt, and you can watch our coverage if you go to cspan.org. Christian Daytalk will be there as well. He's the White House correspondent for the Washington Examiner.
How do I have pink lips and I'm still single?
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Greta.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with calls this morning in open forum. Any public policy or political issue on your mind. They're the lines.
I know what it's like, y'all. I know what it's like to stay single for a long time. Don't feel bad. Don't feel sad.
British historian Alexandra Churchill is no relation.
It's easy to find a relationship. You have to talk to somebody that wants one. Just like you.
1914. Title?
All she had to do was say, "Are you single?"
Churchill is quick to tell you she is not an
Hey, pumpkin, what's your number? What's your name? What's your number? You single? You want to hook up? Do you want to hook up?
Writes 3 times a week for Substack. Co-hosts a
Seriously.
podcast titled History Hack. Appears on many documentaries. And is a participant in a history touring company in Great Britain. Her book is the story of ordinary people, she says,
All right, I'm
not
restarting the
those
stream.
stalking the corridors of power.